Hey everybody, I am like up right now because I am about to go to work, so I don't have long to do this video. I'm actually just going to do it with a couple of minutes. I know I keep hearing about this whole thing about the government shutdown and the SNAP benefits not being issued for next month. I don't know if that is going to be true or not. I know there's an announcement that has just been made that it is true. So, but things change so quickly. They could come to some decision because we're not exactly in November yet. We still got one more week before November. So they can easily come to a decision and be like, oh, well, you know what, the government is no longer in shutdown and now we're going to be distributing November's stamps. I don't know. I don't know, and I'm not going to get on here and pretend to know, but what I do understand is that yeah, a lot of people are more than likely going to find themselves in a bit of a struggle for next month. And I'm just thinking of it. I'm really, you know, praying for everybody that are in those type of situations. It helps if you have a job because we know everybody that's on stamps aren't just sitting on the couch or whatever, stereotypically, and that people actually some people out here even work full time and still qualify for stamps because they just simply don't make enough money for their family even though they work full time. With that being said, I believe definitely the food banks are going to be popping, and that's an alternative if you attend church and you can rely on your church for assistance. That's going to have to be an alternative. Hell, turn into family. It does bring me back to Dr. Claude Anderson, and I know you all probably get tired of me talking about this, but you know this is a man, and there have been many others who have told us as a people that we needed to control our resources. We needed to have controlled our resources earlier on, so that we wouldn't even be in a predicament where we would have to rely on the government or any other outside sources for what we need. And that's very true. That's very true. Food is definitely, as we are seeing now, just one of the many resources that we as a people should have controlled for our own selves and our own people to begin with. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And I think situations like this with the government shutdown and the whole SNAP benefit stuff is definitely an eye opener for my people in terms of what we actually do and do not control here on this land. And it's a wake up call as to why it's important to not be complacent, to have fought for our independence as from all of this shit and our freedom from all this shit, but also have the ability to control our resources and take care of ourselves and feed our family without relying on the government, without relying on outside cultures, because that's another thing too. With that being said, all I can say is, including myself, don't think I'm not speaking this over myself. I'm not in no perfect situation by no means. This will impact myself and my family, and other family members. You got to think about it. Also, folks that's on SNAP benefits are the elderly and disabled as well. Again, I just think about the fact that if we had controlled our own stuff from the beginning, we wouldn't even need to rely on the government or anything. So with that being said, all I can say is that I hope everybody just looks out for each other, and especially our children, because the stress that us adults are feeling, you can only imagine the stress that our children are feeling, whether it's directly or indirectly. Sorry y'all, this light it's a light in the backyard that just cut off, so it got dark in here. But the stress that us adults are feeling, and I'm gonna tell you all, I keep saying this, I drive for a living. I'm up here in Northeast Ohio. I go in my county. I go all around in my county from the far east to the far west, and people are stressed the hell out here. They are stressed the hell out, and these are adults out here that are stressed out, and it is visible in just their what they're talking about, how they behave, as well as the way they drive. They are stressed out, and that stress, you got to understand that stress is transferring over to these children as well. We got something up here where folks are busting windows out the cars of vehicles. They don't care where they going. They busting windows out the cars of vehicles. I don't know if they're trying to steal out these cars. I suppose you're not just busting windows for the fun of it. But my point is, it's a lot going on now. This is prior to SNAP benefits being cut off. So it's a lot going on now. So I don't know. I can't predict the future. I wish I could for y'all, but I don't know. But I definitely would say stay calm and use this time to figure out ways to get away from this system if possible. I feel like it makes us rethink that, like, damn, maybe I should have never been relying on this stuff in the first place. But I get it. It's circumstances, and it's like where we are. It's just where we are today. Some of us, it's just where we are, and it's hard to figure that shit out in terms of getting away from it, especially when many jobs, folks always love to tell folks to get a job, and many of these jobs don't even give you a livable wage, let alone enough to feed your family. You could barely pay the bills. Oh my God, it's cost of living, the rent and stuff, the shit has increased. Look, it's so many factors to this shit. When you hear folks on here dogging folks about SNAP benefits, they act like everybody working construction is making 30, 40 an hour. And even some of them folks are struggling because they're trying to pay either high rent, high mortgage, cost of living, and then on top of it, medical. We don't even talk about medical and medical bills and things like that could be sucking up people's money too. So these SNAP benefits, they come in handy for a lot of people. Again, I'm talking the disabled, the elderly, but please stop getting on this internet and acting like black folks the only ones on public assistance, which all of us are not on public assistance. Many of us work. Many of us are working class individuals. And even if we are on it, we're working. So doesn't that mean if you're working and you get SNAP benefits, don't that mean your own tax dollars is going to your own SNAP benefits? I don't really hear too many people talking about that, but let's not forget there's a lot of foreigners. And I'm not talking your brown foreigner, because y'all folks love to just make it seem like Mexicans and Spanish folks or whatever are the only foreigners here. No, the Europeans are foreigners too. If you're not indigenous, okay, you're a foreigner. But let's not forget that many foreigners that are here, Europeans, whatever they are on this shit too. So that's another reason why I don't really see them not distributing SNAP benefits at a certain point in November, whether it be early November, mid-November. I don't see it because not because of our people, because it's their people. It's their people that's going to be struggling. We find a way. We make a way out of no way. I do believe it's going to be their people that'll be struggling because a lot of them are on this shit. But at the same time, with our community, I really think that we it's a good time to reflect, take some time back, just focus on our own shit, and especially to get ourselves together for our children, because the trauma that we are experiencing as a people in our community, as well as what we receive from outside folks, we're inflicting it on our children, whether it's directly or indirectly. And lately, I have been really getting in tune with my children, trying to slow down because I do work full time. I work in 48 hours a week. And I feel like sometimes my children are not necessarily, I wouldn't say slipping away, but I'm starting to see the change in them because I'm working so much, and I'm starting to feel a little disconnect. And I don't like that at all, because they're my babies. I don't play about my babies. So I just use this time. I don't panic. I'm not panicking. I'm not, and that's just my own reasons. I can't really explain why I don't panic. It's more spiritual for me. I feel like I'm still here. I got my health. I got my right mind. Praise God. I got my limbs. I got my family. My children are healthy, they're okay. It could be worse. So that's how I kind of look at it, but that's just my situation. I'm not knocking anybody else who may feel this and may be going through it. I can't knock that. I'm not paying their bills. I don't understand what they're going through. I just know what I'm going through, and that I always see, like, there's a way out. There's a way out. As long as I got my right mind, I can figure this out. I can get out. Not to mention I'm with somebody. So that's another thing too. So I can't knock anybody else who's feeling this and panicking. I cannot knock that. And I'm not gonna make fun of nobody for that. But I do, feel like this is a good time to reflect and be like, oh shit. Maybe somehow, some way I need to get away from this shit. This ain't it. And if I can't immediately get away from it, I need to be making sure I'm working on a plan to never be in a situation where I gotta depend on this shit, because obviously it's not dependable. Neither are jobs though. Jobs ain't dependable either. So let's not pretend like, oh, you got to get a job. You need to work. Stop listening to them people. Stop listening to them people. Yeah, get a job, sure. But at the same time, let's not pretend like a job is dependable and that you can't lose that shit, and you still need a backup plan even when you get the job. But I do believe in this time, during these times of everybody else panicking and trying to get you to join a certain side or whatever, take some time, step back, and turn to your creator. I don't know if you call it God, I don't know if you call it Most High, I don't know if you just believe in the universe, whatever it is that you believe in, take some time back, time to reflect and turn to that and ask what it is that you need to be doing right now, and to be to for it to be revealed to you how you can get out of a situation that you don't need these funky ass people anyway for your shit, because it's there. The Most High provides, your God provides, the universe provides. It is there for you, not just for them. Because I used to be like that too, looking over at them like whoever them are and go, well, why they got it? No, it's there for me too. But so much happens to us in this life that make us feel like we not worthy. What makes anybody else any more worthy than you? Yeah, you can have that and then some. Overflow. It ain't just for a certain group of people. But anyway, you have to feel like that, especially if you're a parent. You have to be like this because you got to be able to teach your child this too, and make sure your child believes this. And if they don't see that you believe it, if they don't see you behaving and operating in a certain way, then they not going to understand how to do it themselves. And that's what I'm really getting back to. Like, even during this time, make sure that you are doing what you can not to inflict this trauma onto our children, because they are going through enough. They are hearing enough. If they are in a school where they learning about this shit, these politics, and the school swaying them every which way, teaching them Democrat, Republican, then you got the schools teaching them whatever they teaching them in terms of race relations. Make sure you are the stability that your child is going to need during these times. And security is another thing too. You know, we all better stay safe in so many different ways. So many different things are happening out here. I would say just stay safe, stay vigilant so that you can stay safe. Stay prayed up, but stay armed, in my opinion. And that's something I have to work on as well. But anyway, that is it. I'm all for the children. I do believe the system is coming and has historically came for the youth, because they understand that if they can brainwash the youth won't think any differently than adults. They won't be able to break free from all of this if they can get to the youth soon and brainwash them or depress them or apprehend them. Then the youth can't make a difference either. So I do believe it's always about the youth, and I believe we as parents have to do what we can to protect them, protect their innocence, okay? Protect their innocence. And, while we do want to make sure they, at least in my opinion, what I do is I do make sure my children know about what is happening out here, historically as well as present. I always make sure I'm uplifting my children on top of that and reminding them, but your God is greater though. I'm living proof of that. So that's it, y'all. Again, I don't got all the answers. I'm pretty much in the same boat, but at the same time, I operate differently in terms of the way I think and in terms of my faith. I'm very much a faithful person because I don't really fear too much, because it's like I understand we passing through this life. We passing through. So with that being said, I'm gonna die anyway. You can't really do much to scare a person that pretty much have made peace with the fact that they got to transition just like anybody else. And that also, if I'm staring you in the face and you think you intimidating me, whether it's online or offline, you're gonna transition one day too. So what makes you any greater? But anyway, that is it, y'all. Stay prayed up out here. And I do believe in using this time to maybe learn some new things. Not even maybe learn some new things, learn some new skills. I don't know, whatever you could do. But also this is probably gonna be the time to start community building if you haven't already, because it takes a village. We all definitely gonna need each other, and been needed each other really, and need each other's assistance if possible, because that's another thing too, with the trust broken so much in our community. Who trusts who? The women jealous of each other, the men. I don't know if y'all jealous of each other, hate each other. I don't really know too much about male affairs. I just know, where I'm at, yes, a lot of them killing each other. I know that much. With the women, I see it more as, it's like jealousy, like a thing of jealousy. And that's that's exacerbated by media, film, music. Same with the men. So, that's why I don't even talk a lot about movies and stuff no more, because I'm over the negative propaganda and brainwashing of our people. I don't want to watch films where black women are jealous, or the black man is cheating, and I don't want to watch that shit any more than y'all want to hear about it. I don't want to watch that shit. So I done got away from a lot of that shit because that's everyday life. That's that shit to me that exacerbates things in our community where we come together or we see each other and we don't want to speak because we automatically got preconceived notions about each other. But I've been very blessed, y'all. I've been very blessed to really get out here and meet some folks that don't think like that. They may have apprehensions, but once we all get to opening our mouth, especially on the vehicle I drive, which is like a little bus, they are very surprised to see that I am the way I am. And then they open up and they'll start talking to each other on the bus, the passengers, because they see that I'm nice. So then they'll be like, oh, we got a nice driver. And then it just sets an energy on the bus that is contagious and everybody's happy. And despite what they're going through, despite who's going to the hospital, despite who had a bad day, despite who family member is going through something, it's like this positive energy that just spreads through. And now everybody just more encouraged. That's it, y'all. I got to get out of here and get to work. Y'all have a good week. Peace.